up-and-coming Brazilian midfielder, with Tim Vickery. Good to see you, Tim. You just heard our analysis there. Please tell me we got it right, because we worked quite hard on it.
No, I think that's terrific work. I mean, if you look at his heat map, Hannah, hotter than July, isn't it? If I can just hold my hand up here, a couple of years ago when Manuel Ugarte came in to that central midfield position, I thought he'd be a great fit for United, and that one clearly hasn't worked out, has it? And I think one of the reasons why, when he's a good player and Bielsa loves him for Uruguay, he's going to figure very much in the World Cup, is Ugarte. But one thing is, United, you need a little bit more on the ball about you, don't you, than Ugarte has brought. And I think that the strength of this Ederson move is that he gives you the ball-winning capacity of Ugarte with much, much more as well, much, much more dynamism. And he is a midfielder in the plenitude of the word, in that he's going to do anything that you want him to do in that space, all over that space, doing a great deal all the time. He's the words I was going to come in with, but you stole them from me. Dynamic, versatile.
Oh, it's one mind. We're all on the same page. I mean, for those who haven't seen him in action then, who would you compare his style of play to?
I think there's quite a lot of Bruno Guimarães in him, and he's that type of midfielder. He's a little bit of everything. He's not a specialist in any one thing, and that gives Michael Carrick lots of lovely options, doesn't it, in the way that he wants to build his midfield. And I'm sure that United's flair players, the likes of his compatriot Mateus Cunha, for example, will be loving this, because all of that dynamism is going to help give a platform for those lads up front for United.
So we know he's versatile then, but what's actually his preferred position? Does he see himself as a 6 or an 8?
I think he just sees himself as a midfielder. I'm not even particularly sure that distinction makes a great deal of difference to him. I think he'll do what's necessary between games, within games. And another thing, Hannah, that I really like about him, and I think is really important with United, strong personality. I mean, the first time that I saw him, his first real serious professional football in Brazil was with Cruzeiro. Now, that's a big, big club, and they just won everything, but they were sinking in financial debts and off-the-field scandals, and they went down 2019. So he's thrown into this big side that in a relegation battle where they weren't successful, and he stood out. It's the kind of situation that can kill a young career. You know, you throw in a youngster to a side that's sinking, but he really, really stood out. And had they been able to clone him, then they wouldn't have gone down. And I think that kind of strength of personality, I think that's really important. We've seen so many really good players not do the business at the United because it's a heavy shirt. But I think he's shown, especially in adversity, in that first gig he had there with Cruzeiro, he's shown that shirt's not going to be too heavy for him.
Do you see him being a squad player at United?
No, I see him being more than that. So, I mean, obviously, with the return of European football there at United, there's going to be some rotation. But I certainly don't see him as a squad player. I've seen some online stuff being a little bit down on it, that, you know, this isn't a huge name. Well, probably the only reason it's not a huge name is that maybe he spent too long at Atalanta. Fabulous club to play your football. And it was 2 years ago that he was a key part of the side that won the Europa League. But I wonder, from the position of the development of his own career, if he thinks that maybe he should have been a little bit more ruthless and moved on earlier. It certainly would have helped his World Cup chances, Hannah.
Well, on that World Cup chances and that side of things, he made the initial Brazil squad, but he won't be travelling to the US, Mexico and Canada for the tournament. So why exactly is that?
Everywhere. Like, everywhere you look. So I spoke about it on the show when I was on after the Haiti game. I put a picture up of Scotland, Portugal, a game I was at in 2018, where there was 18,000 people in the stand and a lot of people had given up on the national team. And now, yesterday, my son's school, everyone was wearing Scotland kits. They got to wear a dress down day. Last night, I was watching 6-year-olds sing the national anthem, singing No Scotland, No Party, singing songs about John McGinn. World Cup fever's definitely here, like 100%. And the win last week, we didn't play that well, but we got 3 points, and that's a very Scottish thing to do. Last night, we struggled, we toiled, but I think the whole nation's behind us. And what's been great is see, when you talk about Scotland just now, it's not just the team. The Tartan Army are getting rave reviews out in Boston, and it's things like, I mean, if you've not had a chance, look at a group called the Tartan Army Sunshine Appeal. Every away trip, they donate money to charity. So when I was in Greece recently for the Scotland-Greece game, they gave €5,000 to a local children's charity. They've just given 10 grand to a children's hospital in Providence. And they are representing Scotland on a world stage. And all these videos coming from Boston of police officers doing keepy ups with the fans, to Craig Ferguson walking from one end of America to the other to raise money, that's kind of helped the World Cup spirit. So it's not just the kind of 90 minutes that we play, it's the rest of it, and the whole nation is properly behind the team.
Yep, those Tartan Army fans can certainly hold their heads high. Friday night is one thing with young kids staying up late. Tuesday is going to be very different against Brazil. Where are you going to watch that game? Who are you watching that with?
Yeah, it was Wednesday. Wednesday we play, Tuesday's England, Wednesdays we play. I'll be watching that in the Miami Stadium with my 6-year-old. So we're heading out to Miami on Monday. So we've got tickets for the game, so we'll head out there. I'm genuinely concerned because I spoke to someone out there just now in Miami, and it's 35 degrees, feels like 41, and I'm a bald ginger man, and they are not my conditions, man. That is like the Hunger Games for my people. So I'm genuinely concerned that I'm going to get heat stroke before I watch Scotland beat Brazil 4-0.
What's making this story so fascinating isn't just the transfer fee or the player's potential. It's the fact that several rival clubs were reportedly monitoring the situation closely and believed they still had a chance of securing the player. However, as negotiations entered their decisive phase, Manchester United accelerated discussions and moved into a commanding position. Now, with the deal appearing closer than ever, many supporters are calling it one of the club's biggest transfer victories in recent windows. For years, Manchester United fans have demanded smarter recruitment. Instead of reacting to the market, supporters wanted the club to identify emerging talents early and move decisively before Europe's elite clubs entered the race. The Enderson deal feels like exactly that type of signing. The player has attracted attention due to his impressive development, technical qualities and long-term potential. Scouts across Europe have reportedly tracked his progress, while several clubs viewed him as a player capable of becoming a major asset in the future. Manchester United's recruitment team appears to have recognized that opportunity. Rather than waiting, they acted. Rather than hesitating, they pushed forward. And now they seem set to reap the rewards. One of the biggest talking points surrounding the transfer is Michael Carrick's role in the process. Since taking charge, Carrick has repeatedly emphasized the importance of building a balanced squad rather than relying solely on star names. The objective is to create a team capable of competing consistently over an entire season. That requires smart recruitment. It requires planning. And it requires identifying players who fit the football philosophy being developed at Old Trafford. Enderson appears to tick those boxes. Supporters have already begun debating how the new arrival could fit into Carrick's system. Some believe his qualities could strengthen areas where United lacked consistency. Others feel his arrival could increase competition throughout the squad and help raise standards across multiple positions. Whatever the exact role, there is a growing sense that Manchester United are making moves with a clear purpose. The Premier League remains the most competitive domestic competition in football. Every season brings new challenges, stronger rivals and increased pressure. Clubs cannot afford mistakes in the transfer market. Every signing carries importance because every decision contributes to the overall direction of the team. That is why this transfer has generated such widespread discussion. It is not simply about acquiring a player. It is about winning a transfer battle. Reports suggest rival clubs remained interested until the very final stages of discussions. Some believed they could still convince the player to choose their project. Others hoped Manchester United would slow negotiations, creating an opportunity to intervene. Instead, the opposite appears to have happened. United accelerated. Negotiations intensified. Confidence grew. And rival clubs suddenly found themselves running out of time. That development has only increased excitement among supporters. Fans love seeing their club move aggressively in the market, especially when competition is involved. Winning a transfer race sends a message not only to supporters but also to the rest of football. It demonstrates ambition, planning and the ability to attract talented players despite intense competition. Another factor adding intrigue to the story is timing. Managers always prefer key signings to arrive before preseason reaches its most important stages. New players need time to adapt, understand tactical instructions and develop chemistry with teammates. Every training session matters. If Enderson arrives early enough, Carrick will have the opportunity to integrate him fully before the campaign begins. That could prove extremely valuable.